Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is Julie Busby with Busby Group in Chicago. And some of you have seen this series, but I do a series called Coast to Coast, where we feature brokers around the country who are dear friends of mine, because I keep calling this the great reshuffle after COVID, where people are moving all over the country and they're asking me, well, do you know anyone? Or, what about this neighborhood or this area? So I wanted to bring in some of my dear friends around the country to help answer some of those questions. So without further ado, today we have Katheryn O'Connor. She is actually a dear friend for 15 years. We know each other as our husbands went to the Naval Academy together. Katheryn is in Park City. I'm super excited about today's edition. Katheryn, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Julie, for having me. I really am excited to just tune in with the Chicagoans.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I know we're going to get into that, but I think you're seeing some Chicagoans move your way. So I'm excited for everyone to hear. That's awesome. So since I know you very personally, I know that you guys moved to Park City somewhat later in life. It's not like you guys were there originally because you were moving around with the Navy. So tell me, why did you guys pick Park City? How did you land there?
Well, Julie, actually, I've had family here since the 70s. So I do have a lot of family background here. My grandparents were here in the 70s. My parents started owning property here in 1980 when I was born.
Amazing.
And so it was actually always home sweet home in my heart, from California. So we came out here to ski about 10 times a winter since I could walk. And from there, I kept coming back and forth to visit my parents from the East Coast, from college and graduate school. And then in my 20s, after graduate school, I decided to move here, teach skiing on the side, and live here until I fell in love with those Navy boys and my wonderful husband. And then the Navy whisked me away from Park City. But so it's always been a wonderful, sweet spot in my heart. And then once we knew we were planning to get out of the Navy after active duty of 16 years, we decided to try for Delta so he could fly here out of Salt Lake. And it brought me back kind of to home sweet home. My parents are here full time. And it's just the most wonderful place. I've had friends since childhood here. So we have been here now full time as a family for 6 years. And prior to that, I was moving back and forth during deployments or what have you. So this is, we are so happy. It's a great place to raise a family. And again, I feel like I know Park City like the back of my hand since I've been here since I was born. So
amazing.
yeah.
So tell me, tell me about, I know, but we can share with my audience. Tell us about when you started your real estate career.
So I only started actually about 5.5 years ago when I had my youngest. Prior to that, I was an occupational therapist, specializing in neurology, and I worked in ERs, outpatient centers, did that since graduate school. So since I was 24, so it was over, about 15 years, I did that actively. And then I moved here, was doing that and started my own practice. But I just wasn't willing to commute down to Salt Lake after a while with my husband gone and traveling a lot with 3 kids. So I always had an interest in real estate. I had family in it, and it was a perfect time to dive in. I still have some great mentors in this field, but quickly within the 5 years, I think it says something when you switch careers at 36 years old. I was hungry to learn. I was super motivated, and I rose to kind of the president's circle for Berkshire Hathaway quickly within a year and a half. And it's been fabulous. And now I'm mentoring others. So it's been great. People ask all the time, do you love it? Where a lot of people are already so tired and burnt out. And I do. I love it. I interact well with people. I always have. And, I want to take care of my clients. So
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I've been following you since you've gotten into the industry, and I just am in love with the properties out there. It's gorgeous, and the lifestyle looks phenomenal. So tell me a little bit about lifestyle. So Chicagoans might be watching this and intrigued by Park City, and we just don't know much about it. So, tell us about, you said Salt Lake City. How far away is that for the airport? Chicagoans tend to be foodies. How's your food network there? Are there good restaurants? We like to shop. and we're craving outdoor space. So I'd love to hear,
Absolutely.
how Park
Well,
City fits in.
the food, let me tell you this, I'll be very honest. The food is getting better. We have amazing restaurants on Main Street. Our Main Street is this little Western strip. We used to be a mining town. So it looks like you're walking into old wild Western, the US back in the day. And we have phenomenal restaurants. We do. And kind of when to, if as a local, when to dive into Main Street area or when to stay away. Like Sundance, we all stay away because it's just so busy. But Park City in the last 5 years has grown tremendously, and our restaurants are now more spread out. So we have lots of options. The summer is absolutely amazing because the whole, people say you come for the winter, you visit in the winter, and you stay for the summer. It is, there's endless things to do. We are a mecca of outdoor lifestyle. So, I have multiple friends who don't ski, both women and men, and they have no desire to ski, but and they were worried about moving here. As you can see, there's already snow outside, like I told you, and that's overwhelming for a lot of people coming from different places all over the US. So but quickly they learn, gosh, they look back at the time when they moved here and they're like, goodness, this was like, there's so much to do, even if you don't like skiing. They learn to enjoy their hikes in the snow, or walk their dogs with their friends in the snow, or skate ski, cross country ski, snowshoe. So much of it's so social too. So a lot of our outdoor lifestyle, you could, whether you have a full day schedule of work, but for an hour, you say, hey friend, let's go snowshoe for an hour. And that's your workout for the day. So there's just endless things to do. And to be honest, I think the summers are that much more amazing. I love the winter. We find more investment buyers coming in for the winters, renting out their places throughout the year. And then summers, people start to learn about the summers and they decide to stick around for longer. In the summer, you see everyone in town. We now all have e-bikes, people e-bike to and from all the concerts. We have lots of free venues in the summer. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there's always something and always somewhere to go. You bring your picnic and your wine and you just sit there and enjoy the beautiful sunset. And it's just, there's always so much fun to do.
Amazing.
So
you and I, we just went on a trip together, and you had me you were going home to have some hottie toddies and walk around your neighborhood.
That's right. This is what we do. This is what we do. And we work hard and play hard. That's for sure.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about, well, actually, I'm curious, commute time. A lot of our clients are busy professionals or consultants. And so they're curious about commute time to airport. How far away is there Park City Airport? Or do you fly into Salt Lake?
No, you fly into Salt Lake. So it's a 25-minute drive with no traffic. My husband's a Delta pilot, was a pilot in the Navy, as Julie said. Both of our husbands were at the Naval Academy together. So he's going down to the airport 2-3 times a week. And it's a 25-minute drive. He leaves an hour before he needs to show up at the gate. And then he always checks, in case there's a big accident or so what have you, you go a different route directly to the airport. But it's so easy that you're in and out like that. Delta now has direct flights all over Europe. So it's nice for people to know that it's an easily accessible place to be. Awesome. Most of my friends, either the husband or the wife are commuting a lot during the week, or they're lucky enough to work from home. But it's one of those things we can get out of our beautiful bubble here very quickly. And that's a nice feeling.
That's awesome. So tell me about, how accessible is the real estate there? The reason I ask is Chicago, for a big city, we are actually pretty reasonably priced. Our average single family home in this city is probably around 1.5-ish. So that's a good average around there. Is that accessible in Park City? What are you seeing with trends and price points right now in Park City?
Sure. So, as we all know, the price points have been ridiculously high through our COVID times and our pandemic. And now we're at a point where, let's say the average sales price in the Park City arena has been around 2 million. Those closer to Deer Valley and up in the mountains has been 3.7. So these $2 million homes, we're at a point in our market where, it is a buyer's time to buy. It's a 180 change of our market. So I'm telling my buyers, hey, let's come in with an arguable, competitive argument to state why we're going in at 1.7. And this is why. So we're going more back. We're not seeing ourselves being in a housing bubble or going into a housing bubble, but more going back to historical norms right now. So going back and telling my sellers, hey, if you want to sell, we're not going to sell what we were going to sell at 6 months ago or a year ago. We're going to sell, the price is going to be more at beginning of COVID times. So a little higher than 2019, but probably the summer of 2020 is what we're looking at. So, and there are homes, there's many townhomes, people, who wanted to buy a $1.1 million house. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do that during COVID. So they bought a townhome, and now it's a buyer's market. So now you see those locals trying to get into the single family homes. So, I have a house down the street that's been on for 2.2. He's now down at 1.9. He still hasn't sold it, but houses were going off the market, no problem, for 1.9 6 months ago. And now it should probably sell at like 1.75.
Wow.
So,
okay. So approachable for sure.
Yes.
That's
and
great.
There's many areas, is what I explained to my buyers. We have some incredible communities on the outskirts of Park City. So one's called Camas, Colville, Hideout, Heber, Midway, and these towns, including mainly, specifically, let's say Heber and Midway, they're the fastest growing town per capita in the US right now. So
wow.
They are these little farming towns, but to be honest, have more dramatic views in Park City, with the Sundance is right up behind them. And it's a stunning place to live. It's 15 minutes down the road. And that market is a much more doable market to come into.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So Chicagoans also like walkability. We're used to walking in the city. How is walkability there? And then that brings me to maybe the condo market too. And how does that look? Are you seeing it's primarily investors? Is that still feasible, or Airbnb still something in the area? Just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. It is walkable in many areas of Park City. It is bikeable everywhere. So I put it that way.
Amazing.
It's so, walkable. Yes, you have cute little neighborhoods all around Main Street. And Main Street's kind of where most of our restaurants are and shops and so on and so forth. So people easily can walk, but we bike for 15 minutes and we're downtown. So, or we bike 10 minutes and we're at Kimball Junction, which is our other little mecca area with shops and restaurants. So it's a fun thing to do with the kids or what have you, because we say, hey, where should we go for dinner tonight? Let's go out, and we're on a bike. That is, of course, 6 months of the year, not throughout the winter. So in the winter, you are Ubering, you are driving, but it's not far. Everything's within 10 minutes, which is so easy. And then your other question, when it comes to Airbnbs, yes, it is. It's mainly investors. Of course, during the pandemic, they've been, the rental market's outrageous. But people are willing to, they look at numbers, almost willing to rent at times versus buy, right? So, but the Airbnb market is so strong here. There are multiple rentals, and, they fly off the market during ski season, Sundance, so quickly. But it's actually almost, what I tell people, it's almost worth your dollar to stay longer and stay for a whole summer and rent for 3 months and soak up our town and so on and so forth. So
makes sense. Now, are they cracking down in Chicago? Airbnbs, they are making it harder for investors to have Airbnbs. Have you seen that in Park City?
No, because so much of our market is people traveling here, being a resort town, are non-locals, right? So they do make it, that's how the mountains make money, so we are all about, people traveling and visitors, and we want to welcome, everyone. So we have areas that are nightly rentals, areas that are 30-day minimum, and then areas that are long-term only. So it just per area, to me, there's so many apples and oranges in this town. Whatever my client needs, I hone down quickly and I say, here are your options. So it makes it easy in that way.
That's
But
awesome.
but near town, there's so many nightly rentals, and we have great property management companies, and it's pretty much a smooth process. They've been doing it forever.
Amazing. If we have someone in Chicago listening right now and they're thinking they want to do an in town, what would you say the starter price point might be for like an in town, a 2-bed in town condo?
For renting, for a
Starter.
nightly rental.
Yeah, like if they rent it and live in it when they're in town.
So to buy, something like that, anywhere from 1.5 to 2.2, depending on how old it is. There are some actually, I say that, but there are some actually starting in the 900 range, but they're older. But you can, you could rent those out for probably 1,000 a night during the high season. So,
Right.
and then during, a long-term summer, let's say you are renting it at like 400 a night. So the rental market is very strong, and there's just so many options. So Old Town consists of, these old mining homes that have been completely renovated that are, in the 4 to 6 million range, or homes that are older in the 1.5 to 3 range. So you could buy any of those. And a lot of times, I tell my buyers, my clients, you don't need to renovate right now. People want to be here so badly. Just wait till all the prices come down and just soak up the rental market to the max, and then down the road in 2 years think of renovating.
Perfect. Now, what have you seen in new trends? Are you seeing more people are living there more full time versus having it as an in town because of COVID? Or have you seen, I guess, what trends have you been seeing since COVID?
So 90% of my buyers have been looking for primary residences during the pandemic. So everyone moving for the lifestyle, because this lifestyle gives so many people a peace of mind. We've just found, our schools actually are, we used to have 10 in the class. Now we have about 15 to 17. Our schools are all about smaller classroom sizes. So we have had to add classes per grade to keep that. But so most people are coming here to move full time, I would say. A lot of New Yorkers, a lot of people from Chicago and Californians, and many from Texas as well. So it's people are moving here for that lifestyle, and then 10% of my buyers are solely investors, I would say. Especially this is the time of year where we pick up with investors. So yesterday I had three investors in town looking at condos ready to buy because it's the buyer's market. So it just depends on the season. And I just, can't emphasize enough. It's just so fun to see people move here, and they're a little nervous. And I'm just like, you will meet people so fast because most people are not from here. Everyone's moved here for the same reason. So you'll be sitting on a chairlift or in the grocery store or at a soccer game, and people are just like, hey, where are you from? How long have you been here? And it's so fun to watch, especially since I've been here for so long, with just family history. It's neat to see this town, just a welcoming, exciting town for people to be here.
Yes. So with so many people coming, are you finding new development as well? Are developers coming in and developing new communities or new condos?
Yeah, great question. Yes, we are we are feeling us locals a little overdeveloped these days.
I bet.
But it is great. It's hard in a way for us long-term locals to see these great little farming towns blow up, and have one development after another. However, it also brings money to our schools and towns, and we see the pros with it as well. So yes, there are multiple developments in different areas of Park City as well as outside of Park City. I do have my favorites for many reasons. And to me, and one of the biggest ones actually, Julie, is the new Mayflower development, and that's on the other side of Deer Valley. So that development, it's been a big talk of the town and all over nationwide. People are worried about it for many reasons. being that it's going to be double the size of Deer Valley, which is hard to believe, but it is lower in
Wow.
elevation. So people are worried about the lack of snow maybe there, and they're putting so much money into this new development. But there's going to be 4 or 5-star hotels, including the Montage, St. Regis, and then a hotel also that is specifically for veterans. So it'll be a 5-star hotel,
Oh,
but focus for military families, which is wonderful.
I didn't know
But
that.
yeah, so it is really neat. It's exciting to see it come, up and coming. I have a client who is going to be building a private club there, tennis club there, because we're seeing a lack of private clubs here in town. And if there are, they are so expensive to get in. He sees a need for another club that is at a reasonable price for people to get
Wow.
into for their kids. And so it's just, there's a lot of change going on. There's a lot of shuffle, like you mentioned earlier, there are some pros and cons. We have definitely a drought. We're in a drought. So seeing a huge new resort being built is hard for a lot of us, because we're like, where are you getting the water to,
Right.
make snow? But those are just local problems. But in general and overall, it's an exciting time for Park City and the nearby developments and areas. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, so it sounds like it's accessible not only by airplane, but also accessible on price point, which is good to hear for Chicagoans. Also, you can walk, you can bike, there's summer, there's winter activities, there's good schools, there's new development, there's condos, there's single family homes. It sounds like a lot that Park City offers. Anything else that you want to share?
I just in general, I just love even just answering questions, even if someone's not looking to buy here. I love I'm always usually a go-to for people, when they're in town just visiting to ski. Like, hey, what restaurant do I go to? What have you? What's the best coffee shop? So I just love being kind of like a book of information for people, just because I've been here. And I'm so proud of this area we call home. And it's just, yeah, I'm really just here to answer any questions, even if I'm never your professional, go-to. I love to just be a resource of information for people.
Well,
So
amazing. We are going to share your social media handle so our clientele and people tuning in can watch you and ask questions. And also, I love all the listings that you share and just all the lifestyle. So I know that people will look
thanks,
forward to that.
Julie.
Yes. And then at the end, I usually do a round robin. So I
Yeah.
do a rapid fire. Sorry, I'll do a quick rapid fire of a few questions.
Thank you.
What is your favorite restaurant in town?
It would be, this is River Horse.
Okay, and what is it?
Um, it is actually top rated, and that's not the reason. I like to go when it's off season, when it's quieter. But fabulous fresh fish. They literally catch it the day before. It's overnighted from the East Coast. And just fabulous wine pairing. Great, just cozy environment when it's snowing outside. So it's a great go-to.
Love it. What is favorite place to go visit that's a drive for you?
Guardsman Pass. And the reason is it's above our Deer Valley. So you can drive up above Deer Valley in the non-winter months. It has some gorgeous hiking up there. And then you could go down to the next canyon over, which is called Big Cottonwood Canyon, where we have like Snowbird, Alta area. So there's a bunch of other resorts, but you feel like it must be in the 1900s. You don't see any buildings. It's just all aspen trees. It's a gorgeous place to be throughout the summer. And it's why I live, we live here so much, so many of us. So my kids love taking that drive, and we've gone to weddings up there, funerals. I mean, it's just a place that people love, and they feel so close, so close to everyone and anything up there. So
that's amazing. Now, last question. If you weren't doing real estate, what would you be doing?
I would be a labor and delivery nurse.
Oh my goodness. I love it. That's what my sister-in-law is.
Oh,
wow.
I love people. I love babies. I love it all. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's stressful situations, as you and I know, with working in real estate. we're able to I'm able to kind of be an even keel for a lot of people. And,
Love that.
sometimes we feel like we're we're our clients' therapists,
All the time.
and I learn so much from my clients as well. I love it. So that's what I would be doing.
I love it. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm excited for everyone to go check you out online. And again, we'll share all of her information. So if you all have further questions or just want to follow all the cool, beautiful real estate there and culture, feel free. So thank you again, Katheryn.
Julie, thank you so much. We can't wait to visit you and get on. You have the similar lifestyle. Amazing.
Yes.
So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, love. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Talk to you later.